Hey, Kayshon, Brody Miller with The Athletic. I guess, you were preparing for, a quarterback battle, but I'm just curious, what does it do now going through camp for you as a receiver, knowing who the quarterback is and knowing, hey, I can get this extra time with this guy and get that timing down and all that?
So, yeah, as a wide receiver core, I feel like we know who the quarterback is now and it's Max. So after practice, we throw balls. We gotta make sure timing right, cause at the end of the day, that's who throwing our balls, game wise, practice wise. So it gotta be perfect.
Hey, Kayshon, yeah, so just, I guess, sorry, this is Glenn West with LSU Country. Just kind of along those lines, who are a few of the guys that maybe you've seen some growth from over the last, several months or so? I mean, you're kind of the leader of this group now after having that kind of explosive end of the season, but I'm curious as to maybe who are some other guys that you've noticed who have really seemed to take another leap in their games this offseason.
Everybody really stepping up, honestly, to me. The freshmen came in. I feel like they came in at a faster pace than we did as our freshman core last year. You got Brian Thomas, explosive X. He could do anything from fade balls to slants to everything. It's just impressive watching him. Chris running routes, he doing the same thing. And Malik Neighbors, he could do it all. And Dion, too. They do it all.
Kayshon, Garland, Gillen, Fox State, New Orleans here. Could you speak on your relationship with Max there? It seems like y'all got on the same page at the back end of last season there. Uh, what do you like about how the ball comes out of his hand that you just seem to gravitate toward it and obviously put up some monster numbers in some of these games?
I mean, all my life, I never really had a left-hand quarterback, so I guess playing with him made me realize that this is my first left-hand quarterback, and the balls just come different. They come weird to me, though, but faster. But after a while, you get used to it.
So do you now that you're accustomed to it there, I guess this past summer and everything, you're gonna the numbers should just go up much higher than they did at the end of last season when y'all finally started working together.
Yes, sir. They're going to go up this year. Trust and believe.
Okay, Sean, I know you're expecting big things from you in the wide receiver core, but also Deculus talked about how this offense is really showing some signs of being a dual-edged sword with having the run game and the passing game. How are Ty Davis, Price, and John Emery looking early on?
They looking good very early on. We have a lot of big plays during practice, and we all feel emotion. They score, run big plays, and we run in the end zone and meet them. It's just a part of practice. You need the energy.
Kayshon, Scott Revelay from The Advocate. With Ali Gaye was just saying how he hoped to get the full Tiger Stadium experience this year. With the team being, as last we heard, almost fully vaccinated, are you hoping that will encourage people to do the same, fans, to try to get as close to full house as you can have in Tiger Stadium this year?
Yes, sir. I feel like if everybody want a fully Tiger Stadium, they got to get vaccinated. I'm fully vaccinated, and I advise it for everybody.
Hey, Kayshon, Jacques Douce, WAFB. Going out to practice and looking at all these wide receivers and this long line of athletic and talented guys. What is competition like? I mean, how fierce is the battle to get those three or four guys on the field?
Shit, it's a very fierce battle. You got to go in practice every day knowing that somebody else wants your spot. So you got to handle your role or you're going to be replaced.
Hey, Kayshon, Wilson Alexander from The Advocate. One of the guys in that receiving core we haven't even talked about yet, Dre Jenkins, had a pretty solid year last year. It seems to be running alongside you early on in camp here. What have you seen from him so far this camp? Does he seem like someone who could really contribute as well?
Yeah, I feel like he really somebody that could contribute to this year as well. Because on my side, I do what I do, and I'm knowing and I trust that he could do what he do because he showed every day, practice, walkthroughs, everything.
Yeah, Kayshon, Ron Higgins, Tiger Rag Magazine. What is it about, I guess, a left-hander that was kind of strange at the beginning for you to catch? And also with Max, is it different because he scrambles also? You have to kind of keep going on the play, keep running around.
Yeah. it's just, like I said, it was weird adjusting to it, and he scramble and throw off the run a lot, so it's like the ball's coming like 40 miles per hour, so it's all a reaction thing. You got to focus fast.
Hey, Kayshon, Glenn, Gilbo, Lafayette Advertiser. Have you asked or told any of your friends and family, hey, if you want to go to Tiger Stadium this year, go get vaccinated? Have you kind of communicated that to them?
Yes, sir. I make it known all the time, a couple times out the week too, because it's the right thing to do. What I feel like, everybody got their own opinion at the end of the day.
And one more. Last year, you didn't get a lot of action early in the season. How was it trying your patience, or did you ever think you were going to burst on the scene like you did late last season? Were you getting antsy, I guess?
I never did think I was gonna do what I do, and to this day, I still don't really talk about it because it's still much to improve on. It was just a freshman. I learned more. I experienced. I just gotta come back harder.
Hey, Kayshon, this is Glenn West again. One more question for you. DJ Mangus is one of the new guys in the building, and I'm sure he was probably involved in your recruitment a couple of years ago as well. What are you kind of learning from? What have you learned from him? I guess in the months since he's taken over as the passing game coordinator, and just kind of what does that fit like with him and the receivers? What's that bond like with you guys?
He coming in with a great plan. Practice every day. He working us. I can't even lie. He working us. We talk about it every day, and he say he gonna hold us to that high standard, cause we practice like receivers that's supposed to play. So he gonna hold us to a higher standard than others.
Hey, Kayshon, I'm just curious. I mean, you have that like crazy end of the year and that huge game against Ole Miss in the last game of the season. Has anything in your life or like around your life changed as a result of having a game like that to end the year in in all those months since? Have you noticed differences in maybe the way people talk to you or something like that?
Yeah, like if I was out in public, people would talk to me, but I don't really go out a lot, so it's like I avoid all the noise and all the talk and stuff like that.
Thank you, Kayshon. Hey, Ali, Jacques Duce, WAFB Channel 9. Just curious, obviously you've got a few more weeks to the season opener, but how much do you think this defense will be improved? How much do you think you guys are going to clean up in terms of communication and bust and so forth?
I mean, I think it's a great time, camp for us to, start building that chemistry because this being a new team and new players added in, but same old players from last year. So I feel like, communication-wise and just the defense improving is it's definitely going to be different from the last year's defense. So I feel like having spring and camp and all just being together, I feel like we're going to be a lot more improved than we did last year.
Hey, Ali, this is Glenn West with LSU Country. So you obviously came last year and really broke out onto the scene early in the season. And I'm just curious as to what you've really been working on this offseason in terms of improving your game and improving your pass rush. Just what are some of the areas you focused on this offseason?
I feel like just, building off my weaknesses and also just building off of what I did from last year, not really focusing too much on that, but just also just improving in all aspects of my game, passers-wise, the little things coming off and just finishing plays and executing, my assignments even better.
Yeah, Ali, Brody going with The Athletic. I guess to build on that, I mean, your first year playing SEC football, now going to year two, like, what were the main things you were able to kind of learn? Are there certain things that really stood out?
I guess just how to break down film even better because, being around here, I've learned so much since I got here. So I say, learning how to watch film the right way and not just focusing on what I'm doing, but also what everybody else on the D-line or in the backfield is doing just to make sure I do my job and make sure, the whole defense works how it's supposed to instead of, busting up my assignment and then, messing up the linebackers or somebody that's supposed to be in a gap. So also just focusing on, my job also as well as my defensive line guys, and also just knowing everything that's happening, because if I don't make a play, somebody else is going to make the play. So just knowing how to be in the right place, and yeah, that's really it. and also just a lot of other things as well as just perfecting my craft. That's one of the things that I've been. There's no finish line to that. So also always just improving and getting better in all aspects of my game.
Thank you. Follow up to that, Wilson Alexander from The Advocate. Was there sort of someone who really showed you how to watch film that way, or was it more of a just over time, the more you watched, the more you understood what you were seeing and what you needed to look for?
I mean, I don't think I would have really, taught myself how to watch film. I mean, if I'm watching film, I guess I just focus on who I'm going against and, seeing what moves I can use to beat him. But also, being around here and the coaches, especially Coach Carter and Coach O, they really spent some time, teaching us how to watch film, what we're getting from a scheme or offense, and just knowing, how to beat the man and beat the line or just beat whoever's in front of you to go make a play, basically. But Coach Carter really spends a lot of time on that and breaks it down even more to where, it's simpler to us for us to understand. So.
Hey, Ali, Glenn Gilbo, USA Today, Louisiana. You've been to Washington, Kansas, Arizona. What do you think of living in Louisiana, and what do you think of the state, and have you got out of Baton Rouge much?
What I think about Baton Rouge, it's been a hell of an experience. Being from Arizona, Kansas, going to all those schools is nothing compared to being here. I've learned so much. I've learned a lot of. I've met a lot of different people. I've met a lot of friends and family. I've been treated like family ever since I've been here, and thinking about leaving would be sad because I've built a lot of bonds here. But I love being here. I love being in Louisiana, in Baton Rouge specifically, and I love Tiger Nation, and I love all the fans and all the love they show us. So it's definitely been a family atmosphere, and it would be sad to leave this place.
What's the best place you've lived in? Your favorite place that you've lived?
I'm from Seattle, so it's not really much. There's a lot to do in Seattle, but it's nothing compared to being out here with the food, the crawfish, all the seafood you got out here. There's definitely none of that back in Seattle. But so far, I say this has been one of the biggest experiences that I've lived in. Being going to school in Kansas and Arizona, this has been one of the biggest experiences. Death Valley, Louisiana. When you hear that, it's just a chill that runs down your body because of just the feeling and watching the games on TV and being here. It's a whole different experience. I know we didn't get that same experience in Death Valley last season, but hopefully coming this year, I can get that full experience and embrace that even more. You're welcome.
Ali, how would you describe what is it like to play in the SEC and the talent that you face, and what did you learn from playing in the league in terms of what do I have to do as a player to improve?
I say the mentality going into a game. I go against the best every day in practice. That prepares me going to any game. So, it's definitely a battle competition every day because the best guys I go against, are the guys that I'm in the room with, and the offensive line that I go against in practice every day. So they get me right. They get me better before every game. The practices, we treat it like a game. So going into the game, it's nothing new. I've already seen this 1,000 times, and so going into the game, my mentality is set to dominate each play.
Yeah, coming into LSU last year, midst of a pandemic, there's a lot of separation there. How much closer do you feel like to your coaches and your teammates than you did maybe last year? Just because you probably have a chance to spend a lot more time with them, doing things like watching film, like you mentioned, and maybe things outside the building too.
I've gotten a lot closer with them. Already spending a year with them. This basically being a year to just build off of. They've already known me. They already, see, the type of player I am. So basically just, adding more to that, adding more wood to the fire and just building off of that and just helping me become the best player I can be. And that's been one of my focuses this offseason, just being the best player I can be. It doesn't matter who's the best or whatever. I just know if I focus on me and my game and what I got to do, you know, and go out there and execute, you know, there's no stopping, you know, there's no stopping what I can accomplish out there.
I mean, when you have guys like you, BJ, Andre all back, we're all experienced, I mean, what is just that dynamic like where you're all starters essentially, but you're kind of competing for time and whatnot?
I mean, there's a lot of weapons to this D-line, like you just said, like BJ and Dre. If you stop one man, another man's coming to eat. If you stop BJ, Dre's coming. If you stop Dre, I'm coming. Like there's no stopping us. One of us is making a play. You can try it, but you can only try to stop us. But one of us is coming to make a play, and there's no like stopping us. And I know we got a lot of young guys, and we just try to implement that our game to them. Hopefully they can learn from our mentality and how we approach practices and games. But like I said, I mean, if I'm being blocked, Dre's coming. If Dre's being blocked, BJ is coming. Like it's always we got weapons on that edge, just like we do on the inside with Neil and Gilo and J-Roy and Mason Smith and all the young guys. So just know like the weapons is coming. So.
Thank you.
Thanks, Holly.
Appreciate it.
Hey Jared, this is Glenn West with LSU Country. Just I guess talk about your journey here. I mean, you obviously kind of broke out here on the spring earlier this year after having to kind of wait your turn. I mean, just now that you kind of had this opportunity, how much are you seizing it? And just I guess talk about the progress you've made over the last year or so.
So since I've came here, I've been around a great group of linebackers. I mean, from Devin White, Donnie Alexander, Jacob Phillips, Patrick Queen. So learning from those guys, and Coach O always drills into us the LSU standard of performance. So, this is my fifth year. So being around that, I knew what it took. So after all those years gathering all those abilities and whatnot, I just took them and put them into play.
Hey Jared, Brady Miller with The Athletic. But I mean, was there something that kind of clicked or something about your game that you think you really figured out to kind of get where you're at now?
I wouldn't necessarily say click. The new coaching staff, they were real open to giving everyone an opportunity. And like Damone said, you're able to sit down with them and talk to them, and you're able to learn. So, that's a big help, being able to have that connection with your coach, and that was key for me. And I think that bond was created in the spring, and that was able to help me branch out.
Hey, Jared Joseph with Fox 44 in Baton Rouge. Good first name, by the way.
Appreciate it.
Question is there, so you talk about how the communication is better and different with the new coaching staff. How have Durante Jones and specifically Blake Baker improved compared to what you experienced the previous years?
Man, they make you feel like you're at home. Whenever you have a coach that feels more like a friend, but that it's your coach, you're able to get the best out yourself and everyone around you. And it starts with yourself, and once you can build on yourself, then you can be a great teammate, you can be a great player, you can be a great person, and you feel that energy throughout the building, and it's a real positive vibe throughout the building.
You did a good job of just answering the question I was going to ask. This is Michael Cowell from Channel 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll mix it up a little bit, I guess. How do you make sure that you have the staying power to not just be a spring game champion, carry that over and contribute, even if it is going to be like in a team's capacity or a starter's role? How do you ensure that you can leave your mark?
So like I mentioned before, Coach O drills that LSU standard of performance in us. And I mean, like I said, this is my fifth year, so being around for that long, you pick up on a bunch of different key aspects that what you need to do to thrive at LSU. It's one of the best institutions in the country. So, I took all that and just got to stay on top of it and get better each and every day.
Hey Jared, Wilson Alexander from The Advocate. Just to rehash a little bit some of your journey here, were you originally come here as a walk-on?
I did.
Are you on scholarship now?
I am.
What was that moment like for you, and when did it happen that you got that scholarship? And why maybe did you come to LSU without the guarantee of maybe early playing time as opposed to possibly going somewhere smaller to get that?
So I was actually put on scholarship at the end of fall camp last year. It was great, you know. I'm from Baton Rouge, so growing up in Baton Rouge, I mean, it's every kid's dream to run out and play in Tiger Stadium. So, you know, with that being the end goal in mind, you know, I just stayed with it. And could you repeat the end of your question for me, please?
I think that was the end of my question. I
Oh.
was asking maybe why you stuck it with LSU in the first place instead of
Okay,
going to maybe
yeah. So
early.
like I said, it's every kid's dream, you know, to play in Tiger Stadium, man, and it's always been a dream of mine. So, you know.
Hey, Shay Dixon with 24/7. Like you said, you got a scholarship now. You play in Tiger Stadium now. You put goals out there as a fifth-year guy. Yeah. You said now you know you've had a big spring, and this coaching staff is giving you opportunities.
Man, just to get the team better, you know. Football's a team game. I can't do anything by myself. So, you know, for me to go anywhere, the team's gonna have to go. So getting, you know, just making sure each and every one of these guys are ready come game one in LA.
Hey Jared, this is William with Tiger Rag Magazine. I wanted to ask you, you hear the life of a walk-on, how difficult it is. There's not a lot of glamour at the beginning. Any tough moments that you can recall that you had to kind of get through to get to this point, and now you're reaping the benefits of being patient?
I mean, the journey itself, but I mean, you just got to know that there's an end goal in mind, and you just got to keep working on it, you know, each and every day.
Hey, Jared, Paul Boron from CST. I wanted to ask you about Jay Ward. You were just asked about your great spring. Obviously, he made the move and made an impact in the spring. Just talk about his transition, what you've seen from him move into safety.
Physical player. He's a dog. He's a great guy. I think it was a great move. He's smart. He's instinctual. He flies around and he hits. And, I mean, that's everything you want out of a safety and a guy behind you. So whenever you know your back and behind is protected in the secondary, you can fly around and play free yourself. So.
Thank you, Jared.
Hey, Damone, Brody Miller with The Athletic. I guess, we talked off plenty in the spring, but now that you have, Mike Jones in the mix too, just what are you seeing at linebacker now, with that competition and rotation there?
I mean, good to see y'all, but to answer your question, I mean, it's good to have Mike here, have Micah back. We see improvement in our room the last couple of days, and, I mean, you should have competition in every room. If you don't have competition, then something wrong.
Hey, Damone, this is Michael Cobble from Channel 2. It's good to see you too, man. I'm just curious how much better you feel this year. Last year was tough on everybody, but you especially seem to have bear the brunt of it. Did you feel like instantly better, or has this been a gradual process as far as building your confidence back up?
I mean, both, really. I mean, just, having Coach Jones and Coach Baker coming in, just having the spring with those guys, just, being able to sit down and watch film with them, just, and understand the scheme, that built my confidence up. But I give credit to Coach Baker because, Coach Baker his style of teaching is just different, and he's able to, interact and get the playbook through with all the linebackers.
Hey, Damone, this is Glenn West with LSU Country. You mentioned Mike there. Just what kind of skill sets does he bring to the table for you guys as a linebacker core, and just kind of how he can fit in with you guys on the defensive unit? I haven't really heard a whole lot about him yet.
I mean, Mike is a guy that could do whatever. He played more of a coverage type at Clemson, but he's developing into more of a linebacker. He's doing a really good job. Whatever you ask him to do, he'll do it.
Hey, Damone, Wilson Alexander from The Advocate. You mentioned there are many guys like Coach Baker. Y'all able to actually sit down together and go over things. How beneficial is it for y'all as a defense, and for you in particular, to be able to have that sort of face-to-face communication now with your coaches, whereas last year a lot of that was separated?
I mean, it feels good to be able to have more time to sit down. You know, last year with COVID going on, we had restrictions and stuff. I can speak for myself. I'm pretty sure I can speak for everyone. You know, it feels way better. You can ask questions. You sitting down in person rather than being on Zoom.
Hey, Damone, Garland Gillen, Fox State New Orleans. Are you working primarily at the mic? What spot are you working at right now? And where is Mike and Bug and all that in the linebacker core?
Man, whatever the team need me to do, that's what I'm doing.
So, just popping all over positions there in camp. They're kind of figuring out what your piece is.
Whatever they need me to do, that's what I'm doing.
Hey, Damone, Sheldon Mickles at the Advocate. A year later, you see him in practice every day, but what have you seen from Ty Price and also John Emery? How have they come along, and what do you see in them right now so far this year?
I mean, those two guys, you know, like Austin said, the running back room, that's a powerful room. You know, just, you know, seeing those guys, you know, grow up and mature, it's, you know, it's surprising. I mean, not surprising. It's, you know, it's surreal to see them, you know, develop. You know, and I look for both of them to have a breakout year this year.
Thank you.
Hey, Damone, Paul Boron from CST. How are you?
I'm good.
Hey, two-part question about Jay Ward. First of all, going back to the interception in the Florida game, just when it happened, just take me through where your mind's blown at how that play came about, and secondly, his transition to safety, how well he's picked that up.
Well, that's a play I'll probably never forget. You know, first of all, you gotta give Dwight props. You know, it was good coverage by Dwight, and I mean, Jay Ward is in the right place at the right time, and that's, like I said, that's a play that I'll never forget.
Hey, Damone, it's Michael Cobble again. If you could go big picture for me on the defense as a whole, and just the improvements that you feel will be made on this year's team. Are they going to be positionally better, you know, all together better? And is that because of the time that you've had with your coaches and kind of the understanding? Communication's obviously been talked a lot about, but is it just the comfort that comes with that communication of knowing what you're doing now?
I mean, you pretty much just, you know, hit the nail on the head. It's the communication part. You know, we got some of the best players in the country, you know, and as long as we all on the same page, you know, we'll be unstoppable.
Hey, Damone, this is Shay Dixon with 24/7. You've mentioned a few times since Blake Baker got hired about the impact he's had on you and the linebackers. What about him as a coach or, you know, a guy on that side of the ball that communicates or it does well with communication in terms of everybody kind of soaking it in, like you said?
I mean, this ain't Coach Baker's first rodeo, so I mean, Coach Baker experienced, you know, he's an experienced defensive coordinator. I mean, of course, he's the linebacker coach here, but I mean, just his ability to not only for the linebackers, you know, just interacting with everybody. You know, if you're having a dull moment or something, just go talk to Coach Baker.
Hey, Damone, Jacques Doucet, WAFB. We've heard a lot about the chemistry being a lot better this year in terms of coaches and the way they instruct players and what they're getting back from the players. Can you speak to that? I'm sure you guys want to be coached and corrected, but done in the right way.
Hey, repeat your question.
The chemistry right now between the coaches and the players, we hear it's really good and much better than it was a year ago. Can you speak to that?
I mean, yeah, I can. It's good to see that, you know, that we all on the same page. You know, just that goes back to the spring, having the spring to be able to, you know, learn a new scheme. And now we in camp, we got the whole team here. So now it's, you know, it's time to go.
Thank you, Devon. Hey, Austin, Jared Joseph, Fox 44 in Baton Rouge. You guys are about 4 days into the camp now, 4 straight. How's the body feeling? How's the offense looking?
I mean, speaking from a personal experience, really hasn't set in yet. I know after today and tomorrow, probably I'm going to have a couple bumps and bruises. But the offense, overall as an offense, we're doing great. You know, spending more time in these past 2-3 days, doing 2-a-days in the sense like doing the walkthrough in the morning, doing the practice in the evening, and having all this meeting times really helping that chemistry grow. So
I know there's been a lot of talk about recreating the offense that y'all won the Natty with in 2019. So how far has the similarities already shown with what Jake Peach is doing compared to what Joe Brady and Steve Hensminger did 2 years ago?
I would say similarities would be just you're seeing that double-edged sword from the run game to the pass game. You're not really seeing one specific area take off more than the other. You're seeing big plays with passes and big plays and runs. So just being able to have all those playmakers make plays in space is really what's really similar. So.
Hey Austin, this is Glenn West with LSU Country. Just kind of more along those lines, in terms of chemistry. Just talk about, I guess, Max being able to have those first team reps and everything moving forward, as opposed to maybe splitting it between him and Miles. Obviously, it's a very unfortunate thing to happen with Miles, but how beneficial is it for Max and also you guys as an offensive line to lock down that chemistry with all those first team reps?
It's good. Like you said, it's all prayers for Miles and his family and everything, and I hope he has a speedy recovery. But with Max being in there the whole time, like you said, it's very, very beneficial for not only him, it's beneficial for the receivers, running backs, and the offensive line. Being able to have all of us there together just with one QB and work with timing with just one quarterback and that with the ones is really beneficial. So.
Hey Austin, Wilson now is Xavier from The Advocate. Andre and some of the other players were talking the other day about how much this offseason y'all are able to build chemistry again that you didn't really have last year because the constrictions from the pandemic. Do you feel like that's really something that's beneficial to y'all heading into camp right now, and what sort of things during the offseason did y'all do to build that chemistry together again?
Oh, I'm a big believer on that. 100%. A team goes how the chemistry goes. The whole one team, one heartbeat thing is not just a saying that we put on a T-shirt. It's something that we live day in and day out. And I would say just being able just to be around each other more with the stadium runs, even though they were a little crucial. Had a couple of us breathing a little extra heavy. But being able to have extra, things outside of, just a workout or football, just being able to come up here and you have guys come and work in the youth camps. You have guys coming up on Saturdays doing routes on air, guys would do pass protection, guys would do rushing their specific moves and stuff. But being able to have everybody up there and seeing everybody's working for that common goal really was another beneficial thing to make the overall group become closer.
Hey Austin, Jacques Doucet, WAFB Channel 9. You've obviously been there the whole time with Tyrone Davis-Price and John Emery, two guys going into their third year, and a lot of talk about, okay, it's time to go. What do you think of these two guys this year, and how they're going to be ready to contribute?
Oh, it's gonna be crazy with Ty and John, and then you have to give props to the freshmen too, Armani and all of our freshman running backs too. We have a very dangerous running back group, because like you said, with Ty's that big thumper. He's gonna just go straight for it if it's a first and inches type thing. We just need a couple inches to win the down. But then John's that elusive guy. He's gonna make all them jump cuts, all them little shifty plays. But it's just great to have two players with different type of games. So.
Hey Austin, Sheldon Mickles with The Advocate in Baton Rouge. Jacques kind of took my question there, but how tough was it last year? 2 years ago you had Clyde. Last year you had two kind of young guys.
Yeah.
And everything was so disjointed. How tough was it to get on the same page with those two guys, the way the season started and stopped and everything?
You talking? Say it one more time. You're talking about how
The blocking for those guys, getting used to blocking for them.
Oh.
How disjointed was it to get on the same page? I mean, practices were disjointed.
It doesn't matter really who's in the backfield. It's just on the offensive line. If we're not blocking, if we're not giving full effort, regardless if you have Clyde, you have Darius guys, you have Leonard Fournette, you have Ty, you have John, you have all those guys. If we're not doing our job that we didn't do as well of last year, you're not going to see any product. So.
Hey Austin, obviously you guys welcome in another really highly touted recruit, Garrett Lunger, and I'm curious as to what sticks out to you about him, and then also how maybe he's improved since the spring and how he could be able to help you guys.
But the last name cut out. You say Garrett Nussmeyer or Galen Downs?
Yeah, Garrett Dellinger. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, that's good.
What sticks out to you about him and
Okay.
how he's developed from the spring to now?
Garrett's like a little brother to me. I really tried helping him ever since he first got here, but he's really been coming along very well. He's been improving daily. You know, he brings that effort to the table. He's a big kid, and the one thing that stands him apart from a lot of incoming freshmen that you'll see just overall as an aspect is just he didn't like yesterday they put him in just give him a couple reps with the ones he didn't blink at all. Sometimes I was one of those guys they put me in with the ones every now and again. My freshman year I was a little hesitant, but whenever they put him in, he was just like one of the guys. He just hit the ground running. So.
Hey, Austin, Joe Rose, TitanDetails.com. Similar sort of question about the quarterbacks.
Right.
From Max last fall to now,
Mm-hmm.
and then Eric Nussmeier from when he first arrived in the spring to now, what have been some of the biggest areas of improvement or strides you've seen from them each?
I would say with both of them, they're both coming out of their shell. Both from overall year standpoint, you're gonna see more of a leader develop in both of those guys, and they both really pushed each other in the overall aspect in the competition. But because if you're gonna have two guys going at it, even though Miles isn't in the picture, he'll come back in whenever he comes back. But having those two guys that can easily both do great things for us, they're gonna push each other and they're gonna improve each other's game. So.
Last one for Wilson.
Yeah, Austin Wilson, I was from the Advocate again. Obviously, Cam Wire steps in there,
Yeah.
left tackle.
Oh yeah.
And he had a good bit of experience last year, but just what sort
Right.
of growth have you seen from him from last year to this season?
He's been doing extremely well. One of the main things is just overall every offensive lineman has to improve. I believe that his consistency over the past, this is day 4 we're going into, day 5, I believe. His overall consistency has improved tremendously from the season and just whenever he played this past season. His strength is there over this offseason. He had a great offseason. You can tell he's developing more muscle. He's getting kind of yoked on Cam. But he overall, his consistency, his confidence in his game is just really what I see improving. So
Thank you, Austin.
appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good one.